Feels like we can't go a day without talking about an addition or subtraction to this team. Today, we're talking about both. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and it feels like over the last couple of days, maybe even weeks, the Boston Red Sox have been extremely active with their roster construction. Guys have been coming in, guys have been going out, a lot of guys have been getting wounded. In fact, I would say most of the transactions are because guys have been getting wounded on the field here. Honestly, the Red Sox are starting to resemble an urgent care a little bit, but once in a while we get a combination of both, and that's exactly what happened yesterday for the Boston Red Sox, because yesterday they, one, completed a trade with the Chicago White Sox, and two, also had, of course, some more injury news, because that's 95% of the Red Sox news right now. So what we are going to do in today's videos, we're going to break this down. We're going to talk about the trade, what was acquired, what was sent out, how that's going to impact the team. We're also going to be talking about the latest injury news, who is injured, how long they'll be out, and obviously the impact on the team there as well. But before we get into that, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Just helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Don't forget, you can now get all of these episodes on the go on whatever podcast app you listen to podcasts. Link will either be in the description down below, or you can head over to your favorite podcasting app and look up Red Seat Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with the positive news first before we get into more injury reports, because it feels like we've been doing those every other day at this point. The good news is yesterday, right around 6 p.m. Eastern time, the Red Sox completed a trade with the Chicago White Sox in order to acquire left-handed reliever Bailey Horn. Now, in order to get him, the Red Sox only had to give up cash considerations, which is something the Red Sox have been doing quite a bit lately, actually. It feels like the Red Sox are really starting to target guys that they believe that aren't performing super well in other organizations. They can turn around and help make a productive member at the bare minimum to be depth in this Red Sox system, and Bailey Horn's just another addition to that. I don't really get how people can hate on these trades all that much. There's really no risk involved in these. If they don't work out, great, you didn't give anything up. If they do work out, great, you didn't give anything up, right? Sort of a win-win situation a little bit, and specifically with Bailey Horn, he is, like I said, a left-handed relief pitching prospect who has bounced around a bit between the two Chicago teams. Last year, he spent a full season in the Cubs minor league system, where in 45 relief appearances, he had a 4.21 ERA, a 1.435 whip, which is a bit high. He was striking out a lot of guys, though. He had 11.3 per 9 innings. Unfortunately, he was also walking a pretty decent amount at 4.9 per 9 innings. Honestly, not really a terrible season for Horn. This year, however, has been a little bit of a different story. So far this year with the White Sox AAA affiliate, he had an 11.32 ERA in 10 1/3 innings with a much lower, but still not exactly great, 8.72 FIP. The good news is he is still striking out a lot of guys. In fact, right now he's striking out more guys per 9 innings than he was last year at 13.06 per 9. The bad news is he's getting a ton of damage against him, obviously with that ERA being super high, and he's walking more batters than he was last year, almost a 9 per 9 innings, basically 1 per every inning he pitches at 8.71. What I think is super interesting about this deal is that Bailey Horn had spent 3 seasons in the Cubs organization while Craig Breslow was there. Clearly, Breslow likes something about Bailey's game, and I wonder if they are able to sort of hone in on that while he's in AAA for the Red Sox. He was added to the 40-man roster yesterday. This didn't have any subsequent moves or anything. They had some open spots on their 40-man roster, so I'm wondering if we do see Bailey Horn at some point in a Red Sox uniform this year. Obviously, right now, he is a bit of a diamond in a rough type player. There is some positives here, and there's probably a pretty big reason why Craig Breslow decided to bring him into the organization. I would guess a lot of that has to do with the fact that he punches a lot of tickets. With the Red Sox regime pitching-wise where it is right now, I do have a little bit of faith that they'll be able to get him to a point where kind of at the bare minimum here, he ends up being a backup to the backup, right? If a couple of guys get injured, okay, Bailey Horn come up, give us a few outings, make sure that we could keep the damage low with these injuries, which clearly, based on what the Red Sox have done this year, is pretty important right now. So right now, nothing super exciting in terms of Bailey Horn's impact on the Red Sox, but I do think there is something here to pay attention to. If you can get that walk rate under control, you're probably talking about a fairly decent left-handed relief option for the Red Sox at some point this season if they end up going through a ton of different injuries. And again, this is someone that Craig Breslow's really familiar with. He has spent time with him over parts of 3 different seasons as part of Cubs front office. So there's clearly something here that Craig Breslow is very intrigued by and interested to see if he could bring out of. So I'm pretty intrigued by this guy as well. Again, it's basically a no-lose situation for the Red Sox. If he doesn't work out, okay, great. You didn't give anything up for him. If he does work out, you found an absolute diamond in the rough for basically nothing. So overall, I think this trade is a win. I don't expect it to be a major impact on the Red Sox this year, but just something I wanted to keep you guys informed about. So now that we've got the good news out of the way, let's talk about the bad news as well. Obviously, the bad news entails more injuries for the Boston Red Sox, and honestly, at this point, it's just getting flat out comical. Like, it's not funny, but it is kind of funny, right? Yesterday, Vaughn Grissom was supposed to make his first Major League appearance of the year. Everyone was pointing towards him being activated yesterday for the Giants series. Unfortunately, that did not happen, and we later found out that was due to the fact that Vaughn Grissom currently has the flu. That's right, he is sick and cannot make his Major League debut. It appears as though it's going around the Woo Sox a little bit. A couple of guys down there also aren't feeling great either, and this is just unbelievably unfortunate timing for Vaughn Grissom. Alex Cora mentioned that it's probably going to take a couple of days until he's fully healthy and ready to go to be activated for this team. What's going to be interesting about this is if they don't activate him today, he's not going to be able to get any more games in AAA. His rehab clock does wind out today, which means they can add him at any point going forward, but if they don't add him today, he's not going to be able to play another rehab game in AAA. So it'll be interesting to see where the Red Sox go with Vaughn Grissom's activation. But either way, if this isn't the most 2024 Red Sox thing you've seen this year, I don't know what is. Actually, that's a lie. I do know what is, because yesterday as well, the other addition the Red Sox were supposed to have on this team was Garrett Cooper, right? He was traded for in the Cubs series. Everyone was kind of excited the Red Sox did something. This was going to be, at the bare minimum, a major league player over at first base while Costas is out. Well, in his very first game, that's right, the first time Garrett Cooper puts on a Red Sox uniform, he gets a fastball about 94.6 miles an hour off his wrist, and he's immediately taken out of the game. That right there is the most 2024 Red Sox thing I have ever heard. The good news in all this is that it appears as though the Red Sox have dodged a bullet a bit. Alex Cora spoke to the media after the game and said that he's doing okay. He's just sore. It doesn't sound like they're going to look into any imaging or anything like that, and it does end up being a wrist contusion, which is what he was originally taken out for. Now, I am a bit concerned with this injury. Alex Cora did say that they are going to take a look at him today to really assess what kind of damage there is. The wrist is a bit tricky, right? Especially that upper wrist going into the hand. There's a lot of small bones there that can easily break and cause a lot of problems for players, and you don't really know the full extent of that until you look at it in the next day or under an x-ray. Again, it doesn't sound like the Red Sox are planning on getting imaging done on this wrist. It doesn't sound like this is going to be something that keeps him off the field for a longer period of time. It sounds like this is going to be something where he gets a couple of days off, lets the bruise go down and the swelling go down a little bit, and then gets back in there, which is absolutely fantastic. Alex Cora again saying we dodged a bullet here. I think we'll see, especially with how the Red Sox luck has gone injury-wise this year. It sounds like it's really good news right now, and the Red Sox actually did dodge a bullet. I want to give it a 24 hours to see if they actually did dodge that bullet or not, or if there's any residual effects. However, again, Garrett Cooper coming out of the game, most 2024 Red Sox thing of all time, and you kind of just got to laugh at it a little bit, right? Again, it's funny. It's not actually funny, but it is kind of funny that the fact that for the first time this season, it felt like instead of people coming off the IL, you were finally getting reinforcements back. And those guys, both of them, are off this team for health reasons because of injuries or because of illness or whatever. And it's just, it's unfathomable. It truly is impressive at this point how injury prone the Boston Red Sox are in 2024. Now, there is one more update I did want to give you guys injury wise, and that was on Masataka Yoshida. This one, not as positive. He did see a hand specialist yesterday, and the results of that hand specialist was that he was going to need more testing. He's going in for an MRI on his hand today. Alex Cora didn't seem to dodge a bullet on this one. It seemed like he did have some concern here, so he's going to get that additional imaging this afternoon. We'll probably know more right before game time, so if there is something, we'll talk about it in our live stream tonight at 7 p.m., or if it's earlier, we will make a separate video. But it does sound like Masa's probably going to end up missing some time here in the near future, either the 10-day, the 15-day, whatever it is. It's all going to depend on the results of that MRI/X-ray or whatever tests they're doing on his hand there. And again, it's just not good news for the Sox, especially because Masa was getting hot at the plate. He'd been really hitting the ball well, especially after having 5 days off over the past couple of days. So this could be a bit of a big blow for Boston. Overall, again, it's just mercy, please. At some point here, this has to stable out, right? You can't keep having guys coming in, guys coming out. It's like a revolving door on the Red Sox 26-man rotation right now. And honestly, I'm impressed with this team. They have been able to be 17-13 through the first month of their season. If you had told me the Red Sox were 17-13 before the season started, I would have been absolutely ecstatic. If you had told me that the Red Sox were 17-13 with every single one of these injuries, there's no way I would have believed you, right? Just feels like no matter what, every single time the Red Sox get an injury, they somehow play better. So I don't know. It's really impressive what the Red Sox are doing, but these injuries, man, they are a killer to talk about because it feels like it's just constant flow of negative news, and it's unbelievable how many injuries the Red Sox have dealt with this year. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think of all this? What do you think of the injuries that took place? What do you think of the trade that took place? Do you think it's going to have any impact on the Boston Red Sox? Do you think these are all sort of, these are minuscule type stuff compared to what we've been dealing with for the entire year? What are your thoughts on that? And of course, what are your thoughts on the trade for Bailey Horn? Let me know all your thoughts on the latest Red Sox news in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like I said in the intro, we talk Sox content almost every single day. Plus, you made it to the end here, you might as well hit that sub button. You also might as well hit that like button as well. Just helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Oh, don't forget, we are also available everywhere you get podcasts. That's right, you can listen to Red Seat Radio on the go. Again, link is in the description, or you can look it up on your favorite podcasting app. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the Red Seats.